Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're on a mission to decode the real core structure of fluency, how English is actually built, not just, what the words mean. And we've got a really unique stack of sources for this. On one side, there's this widely used big picture textbook for beginners.
Right.
And on the other, a set of really intensive mechanical drill sheets, stuff designed for, well, immediate gains.
And that dual stack, it gives us the perfect learning architecture to analyze, really. You have the textbook, something like a new headway, and that's providing the why.
That's context.
Exactly. The context, it's got, 14 units, all focused on life skills, conversation, a bit of culture. But then you have the drill sheets, the master challenge.
And that's the how.
That is the how. It's the immediate, hyper-detailed mechanical shortcuts, heavy on phonetics, exhaustive verb tables. Our deep dive today is really about showing you the highest leverage points from both to maximize speed and accuracy.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We should start at the absolute ground floor, Unit 1. The textbook kicks off right where you have to.
Yep.
Hello, saying hello, introducing yourself. They use Anna and Mario as the examples. And then building that immediate, tangible vocabulary. We're talking core nouns.
The basics.
A book, a car, a photograph, a sandwich. And the very first rule you hit is plurals. Adding es or es to make books, cars, sandwiches.
It's that simple foundational scaffolding. But what's fascinating is that the master challenge sources, they immediately drill down into the blueprint of the sound itself.
Right, they kind of bypass spelling.
They go straight to the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet, if you've ever heard that term. It's basically just a universal map for sound, which is crucial.
Because English spelling lies all the time.
All the time, yeah. So they confirm the letter A is pronounced E, B is by Z, Z is desired in the UK,
or Z in the US. But the real insight for me was this focus on just a few specific consonants. They call them the magic sounds.
They're a huge mechanical advantage. These are sounds that require aspiration, a little puff of air.
Which might not exist in your native language.
Often doesn't. And the instruction is really explicit. P, T, and K must be aspirated if you want to be understood immediately.
So we're not just talking at a soft P. The source materials say to pronounce P with a burst of air, so it sounds almost like PF, like in the word pee. Why is that so critical?
It's all about clarity and differentiation. In English, we unconsciously rely on that puff of air to tell the difference between unvoiced consonants like P, T, and K and their voiced twins, B, D, and G.
Ah, okay.
So if a beginner doesn't aspirate the P in pen to a native speaker, it could easily sound like they're saying bin.
So this one little trick immediately fixes a ton of common interference issues.
A ton of them.
Yeah.
And it's the same for T, which should be aspirated, almost like a TT sound, like in T. And K or C or Q sounds more like KH. You hear it in key or can. It physically forces your mouth to make the right shape. And right after that, they force you to differentiate the trickiest vowel sounds. The drill focuses on three distinct sounds right away. The long E, I-I's, like in T.
Okay.
Then the short I, as in this.
Yeah.
And finally the short A, I, like in bag.
And the sample sentence they use is just brilliant because you have to hit all three sounds in a row. This T is in the bag.
You can't get lazy with that one.
No, you can't gloss over it. Practicing that phrase really forces you to make those distinct sounds.
Yeah, that focus on phonetics, that's just phase one. Once the sounds are there, you have to tackle the most important verb in the entire language.
The verb to be.
To be.
The sources really get its utility. I mean, you use it for basically everything fundamental.
Everything.
Stating your identity, I am a student, describing feelings, I am happy, giving your location, I am at home. It is the absolute core of self-description.
And the master challenge is so efficient here. It doesn't just teach you the present tense. It gives you this comprehensive 3/10 shortcut for to be right from the get-go.
Let's break that conjugation down because it really does lay the groundwork for everything else.
Okay, so for the present, it's mostly straightforward. You got I am, he, she, it is, and you, we, dear.
Right.
The first little challenge comes in the past tense.
Right.
We have I was, he, she was. But here's the shift the beginners have to drill immediately. Changes from are to were, you were.
So you acts like a plural in the past tense, even when it's just one person.
Exactly. And that's a key pattern. But then the structure gives you this huge gift for the future tense. It becomes dead simple.
It's consistent.
Totally consistent. Everybody gets will be, I will be, she will be, they will be. It just works. And that lets a learner build confidence about the future really fast.
And the structure is immediately set up for conversation, right?
Yeah.
For questions, you just invert, am I happy? Was he tired? Will she be ready?
Yeah.
It's a very logical, mechanical process.
It is. And if you want to sound natural, you have to use contractions. The textbook drills this. High-frequency stuff like I'm shitney, yurdy. And the negatives too.
Wasn't, won't, can't.
Yeah. Using the full form like I am not just sounds slow and unnatural in speech. So drilling the contraction is key for fluency.
Okay, so once you've mastered describing your state of being, the next huge structural leap is describing action, what you do.
Right. And this means moving to the simple tenses, which is the focus of Units 5 and 6.
This is where we get into V1 and V2, the different verb forms.
Exactly. We go from describing a habit in the present, like I ate rice, that's V1, the base form, to describing a finished action in the past, I ate rice, which uses V2.
That seems simple on the surface, but it brings in a whole new set of rules. It's all about the auxiliary verb.
The helping verbs, do, does, and did. You need them for questions and negatives, which to be can handle all by itself.
We have to dissect this dodos did rule. This is a major stumbling block for a lot of learners.
It's absolutely crucial because the auxiliary verb does all the grammatical heavy lifting. So in the present simple, you use do for I, you, we, and they. But for he, she, or it, the third person singular, you have to use does. That's rule number 1.
And here's the part that needs to be drilled over and over. The rule that defines so much of this. When does shows up in the sentence, what happens to the main verb?
It has to reset. The main verb drops its as or as.
Why?
Because the auxiliary does has already done the job. It's
Yeah.
already carrying the information about the third person subject and the present tense. Adding an S again is just redundant.
So you have to ask, does he like tea?
And you must not ask, does he likes tea? It sounds wrong because it is wrong. That one rule dictates clarity.
That's a huge mental hurdle, though. You finally learn to add the as for he likes, and then immediately you're told to take it away for a question.
It is a mental shift, but mastering the does rule is one of the biggest shortcuts you can take. It's a gatekeeper for the simple present.
And the past simple actually makes this a bit easier.
It does. Dead is universal. It works for all subjects. I, you, he, she, they. All of them. It's consistent. But the rule that comes with it is just as important as the does rule. Whenever you use did in a question or a negative, the main verb must go all the way back to its V1 base form.
So for the positive statement, you use V2. He went to school. But the second you make it a question.
The main verb changes. Precisely. You have to say, did he go to school? You cannot say, did he went. The auxiliary did carries the past tense, so the main verb, go, can just reset.
And the drill sheets in the source material really hammer this home, just endless repetition.
V1 swaps until it's completely automatic. And what's great is that the same logic, it holds for the verb to have when you're talking about possession.
Ah, so it follows the same Dodo's rules.
It streamlines the whole process. You learn one system. So
Yeah.
you say, she has a big house.
Yeah.
But to ask the question, it's, does she have a brother? The structure is consistent whether you're talking action or possession.
So once those core mechanics are locked in, the textbook starts layering on all the descriptive context. The middle units just flood you with vocabulary, connecting all that grammar to daily life. Everything from sports like play football or go sailing to daily routines.
Get up early, have breakfast, leave school.
And adjectives.
Yeah.
Awful, fantastic, beautiful.
And this is where the textbook proves the value of all those mechanical drills. By the later units, you're not just reciting grammar tables anymore. You're actually applying those Dodos did rules to, complex real-world situations.
Like talking about rooms in a house or asking for directions.
Or making travel plans. Yeah.
And they use really specific, rich context to make the vocabulary stick. There's this detailed profile of Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah, which the book calls the best city in the world.
A pretty bold claim for a language textbook.
It is. But it provides such rich descriptive language. It points out Vancouver is super cosmopolitan and has these great contrasts. You can go skiing in the mountains in the morning.
And then sunbathe on a beach in the afternoon, which is perfect for practicing those comparative adjectives.
And it anchors the vocabulary in really practical ways. It gives you transportation tips, the charming but slow old trolley buses versus the fast sky train.
A great way to see the city.
And because it's a travel unit, it gives you budgeting context. It tells you a fancy hotel like the Fairmont might be $400 a night, but you can find cheaper, comfortable rooms from $59.
Which is exactly the kind of language you need for the conversational units about asking prices and making reservations. But this is where the material really gets you hooked. They weave in these fascinating little cultural stories that force you to use the grammar you just learned. Like the story about a possible Jackson Pollock painting.
It's such a great narrative hook. A woman, Terry Horton, she finds this huge painting for just $5 at a charity shop.
$5.
$5. And she later thinks it might be a Pollock. And this is perfect for practicing those irregular past simple verbs. She found the painting.
And the story keeps going, so you need more of those verbs. A businessman offered her $9 million for it, but she refused.
Famously refused. She said, no, I want $50 million. And so the debate over its authenticity raged. Another V2 verb. And then eventually, an expert used a special technique to lift a fingerprint from the canvas, which they then matched to a known Pollock print. This whole little story, the art, the money, the mystery, it's packaged perfectly to show you how to sequence past events.
Using verbs like found, went, and saw. It's brilliant.
It really is.
And finally, the sources bring it all into the modern day. They wrap up with digital life and the internet.
They give a little history lesson. It started in the 1960s with the U.S. Department of Defense trying to create a military computer network.
Then it moves on to how telephone companies made it all possible, leading to, a global computer language and the net going worldwide.
And of course, they list all the modern uses that require the grammar you just learned. Booking tickets, checking bank accounts, writing blogs. It's a really compelling case for why you need to master this language.
So if we synthesize this whole dual learning path, the intense mechanics on one side and the broad context on the other, what does it tell us? What's the takeaway for achieving fluency?
I mean, it tells us you really can't get robust, accurate English without both pieces. You need that hyper-specific focus on the mechanics.
The IPA sounds, the to-be tables, the dodos did rules.
Exactly. That focus is what guarantees your accuracy. But that accuracy is just theoretical until you actually apply it.
And that's where the context comes in, the travel profiles, the cultural stories, the negotiation drills.
Right. That's what gives you the applied knowledge, the confidence to use those complex rules in real time. The curriculum works because it structures the grammar while giving you really rich motivation to use it.
So it's the balance between the two that really accelerates success. Okay, let's leave you with one final thought, and it's rooted in how these materials are sequenced. The phonetic drills, they demand this tiny, minute accuracy, like the difference between the long EIZ and the short I.
Very precise.
But then the grammar sections demand mastery of these big structure-altering rules, like making sure the main verb always reverts to V1 when did or does is used.
Right, two different kinds of accuracy.
Exactly. So given that the end goal is always communication, and the conversation units really prioritize speed, for a beginner, what's more valuable? Is it obsessing over perfect phonetic aspiration and vowel sounds right at the start?
Or should you prioritize building immediate speed and confidence in applying the basic 3/10 to be structure, and most critically, mastering those do-did rules? Because that structural accuracy, well, that might just be the true shortcut to functional high-speed conversation. And that is the real deep dive you can continue on your own.